Hi, everyone, and welcome to From Rubble to Healing. If you've just finished walking through From Rubble to Hope, I want to begin by saying how encouraged I am that you've chosen to continue into this next season of facilitating. It tells me that you care deeply about the people you're walking with and that you're committed not just to offering help in moments of crisis, but to staying present for the longer journey of healing. Just like From Rubble to Hope, this curriculum grew out of real-life crisis and disaster response. Again and again, we've seen that while immediate stabilization is essential after trauma, it's often only the beginning. Once people's nervous systems settle and the world feels a little less overwhelming, deeper questions begin to surface. People start asking, why am I still affected by this? Why does this memory still live in my body? Why do I react the way I do? How do I make sense of what I've been through? From Rubble to Healing exists for that space. In From Rubble to Hope, the focus was stabilization. We helped participants understand what trauma does to thoughts, emotions, bodies, and behaviors. We gave them practical tools, deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, mindfulness, and daily regulating activities to help their nervous system settle and to reintroduce a sense of safety and predictability. That foundation is essential. Trauma overwhelms the nervous system. When people are living in survival mode, asking them to process their story too quickly can actually be harmful. Their bodies aren't ready. Their capacity is limited. What they need first is grounding, regulation, and reassurance that what they're experiencing is normal. Only once that foundation is laid does it become appropriate to begin engaging the story more directly. From Rubble to Healing builds gently on that work. By the time participants enter this 8-week journey, they've already practiced calming their bodies. They've learned to notice emotions and physical sensations. They've experienced choice, pacing, and safety within a group. This curriculum does not replace that work. It recognizes it, honors it, and builds on it carefully. I want to remind you that this is not therapy. It will not diagnose or treat PTSD, major anxiety disorders, or depression. It is not about fixing anyone. It is also not about forcing disclosure, insight, or resolution. This curriculum is about accompaniment. It's about walking alongside people who have already survived a great deal and helping them begin to integrate their experiences in a way that feels safe, respectful, and dignified. Healing here is not rushed. Nothing is forced. Participants are always given choice about what they share, how much they engage, and when they pause. Your role as a facilitator is not to interpret, analyze, or solve. Your role is to create space where people can notice, reflect, and slowly make meaning in the presence of God and community. From Rubble to Healing follows the same format as From Rubble to Hope. First, the curriculum packet. This is your script and your instructions. It includes everything you say and everything you need to know. You can keep it digital or printed. Participants will never see this file. Similar to From Rubble to Hope, the curriculum itself is written in a very detailed word-for-word format. Again, this curriculum is designed to support you, not the other way around. You are welcome to read it as written, adapt the language, or use your own words as you grow more comfortable with the material. That's also why these training videos spend time explaining the why behind each activity. When you understand the purpose of what you're doing, you can lead with confidence, flexibility, and authenticity, responding to your group and your context with wisdom rather than trying to follow a script perfectly. Second is the facilitator packet, which contains the visual aids you will hold up or show during each session, as well as some worksheets to help you prepare for some of the classes where you'll share with the group. You'll need to print one copy before your first meeting. Third is the participant packets. These packets include worksheets and activities you'll do in class, as well as homework. You'll need to print one packet per participant and give them out in session 1. Tell the participants to bring their packet every week. So when you're preparing to lead a group, you'll need your curriculum, digitally on your phone or printed, one printed facilitator packet, and one participant packet per person. Story continues to sit at the center of this curriculum. Across the 8 weeks, participants will engage with narratives that hold suffering, waiting, protection, care, identity, anger, hope, growth, and restoration. These stories are not used as lessons to explain trauma, but as mirrors, places where people can recognize parts of their own experience indirectly. For people with a God-centered worldview, story offers something powerful. It reminds us that suffering has always been part of the human experience and that God has always met his people there. Not with quick answers, but with presence, faithfulness, and redemption over time. As facilitators, you do not need to explain the story or draw conclusions for anyone. In fact, it's often better if you don't. Your task is simply to help people listen, notice, and reflect. What stood out? What felt familiar? What stirred something inside me? Trust the process. Trust the story. One of the most important trauma-informed principles guiding this curriculum is that resourcing always comes before processing. That's why this program introduces and practices several internal resources early on, before participants engage more deeply with memory, emotion, or narrative. In From Rebel to Healing, you'll work with 3 core resourcing practices: safe space, protector, and nurturer. Each of these resources is introduced slowly, practiced in the group, and then supported with audio files that participants can use on their own between sessions. You'll have a safe space audio in session 1, a protector audio in session 2, and a nurturer audio in session 3. For each of these, you'll also have a written script. You're free to read the script in class or to play the audio file, which is especially helpful if you're leading in a second language or want consistent pacing. The curriculum will clearly tell you when to use each resource and when to send the audio file to participants. All 3 of these resources will walk the participants through visual imagery in their minds. These are not imagery in the sense of being fake. They activate real physiological responses in the nervous system, slowing heart rate, reducing muscle tension, and increasing emotional steadiness. This is what makes deeper work possible later on. I'll talk more about these in the upcoming sessions. You'll also notice that From Rebel to Healing includes many more activities and games than the previous curriculum. This is intentional. Trauma lives in the body, not just in the thoughts. Healing, therefore, needs to include the body as well. Activities like emotional statues, mirroring, movement-based hope exercises, posture work, and creative reflection are not distractions. They are powerful ways of rebuilding mind-body connection. Play, movement, and creativity help regulate the nervous system. They also remind participants that joy, imagination, and connection still belong in their lives, even after hardship. Community remains central throughout the curriculum. Group sharing is introduced slowly and carefully. Beginning in session 3, participants will be given a chance to share part of their stories with the group. Participants are never required to share, and the structure remains controlled and regulated. Over time, being witnessed in a safe space without advice, fixing, or judgment can be deeply healing. There will be a lot more about this as we get into that specific session. As you step into From Rebel to Healing, I want to remind you of this. You do not need to have all the answers. Your steadiness matters, your patience matters, your presence matters. You don't need to do this perfectly. The curriculum is a guide, not a test. Trust yourself, trust the pacing, trust the people you're walking with. This 8-week journey invites people to move gently from stabilization toward integration, from survival toward meaning, from brokenness toward restoration. Thank you for saying yes to this next step. Let's dive into session 1.